I think that the long-awaited Fed pivot really didn't arrive at all mid-December, but it did arrive last Wednesday. And I think that even with the first Fed speaker out of the gate, Austin Goolsbee, that there really was a reiteration of Powell's renewed focus on both mandates. He said for several years now, we've only been focused really on this inflation mandate, trying to get it under control. But now we have shifted to where we're really focused on both the employment and inflation mandates. By the way, he would not have had non-farm payrolls in hand on Wednesday when he was at the podium. The highest officials in the government do not receive an advance copy of very important data releases until 24 hours before they hit the headlines. So he was not speaking of any other knowledge other than some of the indicators that he flagged. Indeed.com job postings, the conference board, confidence in being able to get a job if you lose one.
So, Danielle, yeah, we get some Fed speakers, okay, but do I really just need to sort of chill and relax until May 15th, which is when we get the CPI data? Or what's our next catalyst after we got through last week that had a lot going on?
You know, I don't even think it really is the CPI report. I think that I think that they wanted to communicate increased confidence that they feel that inflation is going to be coming in line enough to focus on what's happening in the labor market. That has not been the case for some time. And, you know, it's interesting that you bring up Fed speak, because I cannot remember the last time that there was not a speaker immediately out of the gate. I'm talking about 8 a.m. Eastern, the Thursday morning after the Fed blackout ends, and yet it was very quiet. So I think that this is going to be a measured communication campaign.
So, Danielle, I've been seeing here out on social that you believe that we are in a recession. Why do you say that?
Well, because we have a flawless indicator that tells us that that's been the case. Ed McKelvey was the chief economist at Goldman Sachs. At the time, he had underlings by the names of Bill Dudley and Jan Hatzius, to name two. But he went back and looked at the post-war era and found that a 0.3 percentage point increase in the unemployment rate on a 3-month moving average basis from the lowest point in the prior 12 months had never failed to flag the U.S. economy being in recession. In two of the most extreme cases, we were already 3 months into recession. And that really does gel with what the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Department of Labor reported 2 weeks ago. And that was that with revisions in hand through the third quarter of 2023, we did indeed have job losses of 192,000 in those 3 months ended September the 30th, 2023. So it looks like the McKelvey rule will indeed hold, because it was first triggered in October of 2023.
Walk me through more of that, because on the surface, even with the reductions and the revisions lower for a couple months for the jobs data, you would still make an argument that like 100,000+ job growth is really good. So where are we seeing the pitfalls? And is it really sort of a two-speed economy, right? Like the rich are getting richer, lower income, that's where you're seeing the struggle.
You could. It's just we've only got revisions through September the 30th. And we know that momentum has turned to the downside because of what corporate America has told us. My goodness, there's already been 22,000 job loss announcements in the month of May, and it's still a fairly young month. So on a seasonal level, we're seeing a major pickup. Macro Edge, follow them on Twitter if you don't. They do a bang-up job of tracking public job cut announcements. There were 115,000 in the month of April, which was seasonally higher than that of January. And again, we're about 22,000 with just a hop, skip, and a jump 4 days into May of data. So we're definitely seeing an acceleration of job cut announcements. Unlike 2023, though, we're not looking at 6 to 9 months of severance packages out of Silicon Valley. These are going to be closer to 60 to 90 days of severance that's going to be offered as these warn notices are triggered and state laws require that you give your employees 60 to 90 days.